The black and gold. My two favorite colors can now officially rest in peace. What you guys don't know, actually, I'm driving Johnny and Kyle to Jacksonville, bro. They called me up. They were like, bro, we love what you're doing, man. Can we get a ride in the Stang? We got business to take care of on Wednesday nights. It was old school versus new school tonight, man. Get this new school out of here, man. My heart's with the old school. But goddamn, that was a great main event tonight. The ladies. I can't say the same thing about the ladies, man. That was not good tonight. That was not good tonight, man. But Triple H can finally rest his head easy, man. His version of NXT is now dead. Tonight we're going to talk about everything that happened tonight, my thoughts and opinions on what was a decent NXT show tonight. A decent NXT show tonight, man. Also on tap, WWE sends out a questionnaire about what fans like and don't like about NXT. Tonight we're going to be taking the questionnaire, but I'm going to the venue to do that. I hope to meet you guys over there. But before I go, I got one question for everybody in the chat. What are you drinking? I'll see you guys over there. The black and gold is officially dead. We are live, man. NXT presents War Games from the WWE Performance Center. Pretty decent effort for NXT 2.0. But tonight was a very symbolic night in more than one way. Johnny Gargano and Kyle O'Reilly are finishing up with WWE. NXT 2.0 and the new school beats Triple H's old school. And Bron Breakker pins Tommaso Ciampa, signaling the NXT Championship will belong to Mr. Breakker sooner rather than later. Also, WWE sent out a questionnaire asking what you like and what you don't like about NXT 2.0. Tonight, we are going to be answering the questionnaire. Ladies and gentlemen, you will never get me on a pre-show panel saying War Games like a mark. Do you want to know why? Because I am the king of the IWC, and this is off the script.
AEW successful? Why is Tony Khan running his promotion better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Prichard are running Monday night and Friday night? Long-term booking.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your NXT War Games live stream post-show review for December 5th, 2021. I am your host, JD from New York, and this is the OTS venue. Thank you guys very much for joining me here on your Sunday evenings. And you will never get me to answer a goddamn phone call to go on a pre-show and yell and act childish about War Games. Give me a break. Congratulations to Denise, by the way. There you go. You want me to be humble, take the high road. There you go. Good for her. Anyway, I want to start off talking tonight about Johnny Gargano. And I don't think there's anybody in the community about NXT or when it comes to NXT. Jacy, my partner on Wednesday nights, can attest to this. I was pretty much one of the only people reviewing NXT in the community at 1 hour, and I knew exactly what the brand was going to be as the future, building the future of WWE. At 1 hour, I covered it. Everybody said, oh, it's a niche audience. What they do on the show is not going to work on the main roster, yada, yada, yada. It's a developmental system. And we watched the show, and we regularly went back and forth about the show and tweeting about the show, and we texted during the show like we do now during Dynamite. And it was appointment television. It was legitimately appointment television. You saw what Triple H was doing with NXT and how important this brand was going to be for the future of the company. And you saw exactly what Triple H's mindset was in the career process that he was putting his team through and putting the talent through. The show thrived on long-term booking. The show thrived on not overexposing our favorites week in and week out. Things that happened 6 weeks ago were still very much a priority on current television that they were producing. The takeovers, they were once-in-a-lifetime shows where they built them up. They didn't overexpose any talent. They never went 4 or 5 hours. 5 matches, tops on those takeovers, mainly all championship matches, the biggest storylines in WWE. You had to work your ass off to get on those takeovers. Everything about it. Everything about what Triple H did was, in my term, for me to put it to you guys simply, it was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing. I've spoken so highly of Triple H on this show, man. You know, honestly, if I had a fucking nickel for every time I mentioned what I loved about what Triple H did, man, I'd be a rich man. The thing is, one of those cogs in the wheel, one of those big pieces was Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano was there, and from day one, it was just, this is going to be the guy. This is going to be the guy that I'm going to be fixated on. This is the guy that I'm going to root for. This is the guy that I'm going to stand behind and be in his corner. And you saw right from the word go what Johnny Gargano was going to be and what he was going to be worth to NXT and Triple H and his entire team. Same thing with Tommaso Ciampa. It all started from the Cruiserweight Classic. If you guys remember, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa wrestled in the first round, I believe, of the Cruiserweight Classic, the only Cruiserweight Classic, one of WWE's best productions. We've never seen another Cruiserweight Classic since. We will never see another Cruiserweight Classic ever again. But they wrestled on that show in the first round. And what those guys did then, it was used as a catalyst to build NXT. They were NXT. Everything else, all the other building blocks of NXT, they were built around Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. And I don't think anybody is going to refute that. And if you do, you clearly didn't watch the show or you just don't know. They were the heart. Without the heart, forget about it, man. You ain't going anywhere. They were the heart, and everything that was built around that heart, they were the center of everything that was great in NXT. We watched these guys mold into two of the best performers that WWE's had in the last decade. Johnny Gargano is one of the best wrestlers on the planet. Tommaso Ciampa is in the same breath as Johnny Gargano, one of the best wrestlers on the planet. These guys, they mean so much to so many people because of what they did for this brand. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa were given a role on NXT, and Shawn Michaels and Triple H saw this so much and saw this and built this entire brand around them that they honestly, and it came off visibly so clear, Shawn Michaels and Triple H were living vicariously through Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa as they ran NXT. Johnny Gargano was obviously playing the role of Shawn Michaels. Tommaso Ciampa was playing the role of Triple H. Shawn Michaels and Triple H and their feud, when Shawn Michaels came back after 4 years of being retired, because of back surgery, he came back and had one of the greatest feuds in modern wrestling history with Triple H. Everything about that feud was absolutely perfect. Where do you think Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa got the influence for their feud? Shawn Michaels and Triple H. That was it. From that feud and those matches, NXT never looked back. Those two men did so much for NXT that it honestly breaks my heart that we're never going to get to see that ever again. Everything that those guys did was the personification of how to book, how to execute professional wrestling. Everything about it. And that was the brainchild of Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa are single-handedly responsible for bringing many lapsed fans back into professional wrestling. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa are single-handedly responsible for bringing the love that went missing back into professional wrestling. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa are single-handedly responsible for bringing me back to fall in love again and remember what professional wrestling was. They never looked back. And when they were done perfecting what they were doing, you looked at not only one of the best storylines in all of WWE history, but matches, a series of matches that will live forever as some of the greatest pieces of art that any two men could possibly create. Why am I so hard on NXT 2.0? It's because none of what you see and none of what you will ever see will ever come close to what was done between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. Nothing. I'm not saying that there isn't talented men and women in this current class. That main event proved that some of the future of WWE is going to be in the right hands. But when a brand is completely gutted and a brand is completely killed and none of those men are shown any sort of appreciation for it, and I get shit on because I don't like the current version of NXT, you have some fucking balls to tell me that I'm critical of the fucking product. You really do. How could anybody look at what we saw tonight and compare anything to what Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, and Triple H with his team created not even 5 years ago? Why am I so hard on the product? It's because they took something that was absolutely picture perfect and ruined it because of fucking ignorance, greed, and egomaniacal fucking attitudes by Bruce Prichard and Vince McMahon. I will never give Bruce or Vince any fucking credit on anything because they completely internally sabotaged what was single-handedly the best thing in all of professional wrestling, and they did not even know it. Or maybe they did, and they were so fucking greedy that they would never let Triple H get one over on them. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa are single-handedly responsible for bringing the passion and love that we all dearly miss in professional wrestling. Now Tony Khan in AEW, leading AEW, is doing the same thing. He's bringing back that lost love, that lost passion for professional wrestling, and he's giving it back to us. So when people say, why am I so over the moon with AEW? That's the reason. Where do you think all of my love and passion went when Triple H and everything he did was completely killed? It went right over to Tony Khan. Tony Khan is now taking over, has took over for what Triple H was doing in NXT. Now he's doing it with AEW on Wednesday nights. That's why. So when I talk about Johnny Gargano, Triple H, Tommaso Ciampa, Shawn Michaels, and everything that NXT team did, and you look at what AEW is doing now, and you compare it to what Vince McMahon and Bruce Prichard did to NXT, now you know why I love AEW so much. I actually legitimately got watery-eyed for a little bit tonight. When Johnny Gargano came out to Rebel Heart, I knew it was the end. That was it. You have no fucking idea what that theme music means to somebody like me who watched the absolute best version of professional wrestling happen right before our eyes, invested in every single thing that promotion and that man did. To watch him win his first major world championship in one of the greatest professional wrestling matches that I've ever witnessed with Adam Cole. At one of the best shows that I've ever watched, NXT TakeOver New York. When that man came out to Rebel Heart tonight, I legitimately got watery-eyed, teary-eyed. Because I knew what it meant. I knew what it symbolized. It symbolized the end. It symbolized Johnny and the heart, the Rebel Heart of NXT, stopped beating. It will beat no longer. When I saw that man come out wearing every aspect of every NXT TakeOver color and attire he's ever worn, and he paid homage to all the takeovers that he's been a part of, I knew it was the end. Not only for Johnny Gargano, but I knew it was the end for NXT. And the sad thing is, after that match was over, the only thing that we got to see, and the only visual we got to see at the end, at the close of the show, was Bron Breakker, Carmelo Hayes, Tony D'Angelo, and Grayson Waller. Meanwhile, the entire fucking show, at the end of that match, should have been about paying respect to what Johnny Gargano gave, not only to NXT, but gave to us for all the years that he's given service to NXT and what he means to NXT. We didn't get one single glimpse of Johnny Gargano at the end of that show before the show went off the air. It was at that point that I knew it was over. Bron Breakker pinning Tommaso Ciampa. I'm not surprised by what happened in the main event of that War Games match between old school and new school. Bron Breakker pinned Tommaso Ciampa, and he pinned the NXT champion. The narrative of NXT taking Ciampa to put over the Bron Breakkers of the world, that is going to be a thing. Once again, it didn't happen the first time, but clearly WWE was calculating in their execution, and Bron Breakker will undoubtedly ring in the new year as the new NXT champion. So when Johnny Gargano is no longer there on NXT television anymore, I want to see how many fucking people, and this is what I'm awaiting. I want to see how many people claim Johnny Gargano's a sellout. I want to see how many people claim Johnny Gargano jumped ship. Fuck Johnny Gargano. He's a sellout. He's a traitor. He was never that good. Get rid of him. Good riddance. We don't need him. That type of bullshit and that type of narrative is coming from people that were never a fan of the old NXT. That were not in the NXT bubble that Triple H created. Had no fucking idea what Johnny Gargano meant to anybody. When he's not there, he's going to be sorely missed. And the thing with Johnny Gargano is, a lot of people think that Johnny Gargano should stay with WWE. Why? Why should Johnny Gargano stay with WWE? Why would WWE offer Johnny Gargano a contract? Johnny Gargano knows better than anybody, man, that if he stays in WWE, his ceiling has already been met in NXT. There's nothing for him to do. He's going to be holding the hands of all the young kids on that NXT Tuesday night show, and it's not going to benefit him in any way. He's going to be used as the old dog to get the new kids over. Either that or he gets moved to the main roster. He gets demoted to the main roster. And he gets jobbed out because he's too small. Or they don't like his promo ability. Or they do something fucking ridiculous with him and dress him up in some fucking silly costume and have him dance around. Some bullshit on the main roster. Johnny Gargano has no future in WWE. But the thing is, if Johnny Gargano goes to AEW, the dream matches that await him are absolutely out of this fucking world. Johnny Gargano knows what he has to do. But the thing is, Johnny Gargano wouldn't be leaving WWE if Triple H was still in charge. You think Johnny Gargano would be leaving WWE if Triple H was still in charge? Or if he had any inclination of Triple H kind of taking over and having some influence on the main roster? You think Johnny Gargano would leave WWE if he knew he was going to be creatively handled right on the main roster? I don't think Johnny Gargano would leave. He knows he has no place on Tuesday nights. He knows he has no place on Monday night. He knows he has no place on Friday night. And the kicker is Triple H is not there anymore. So why exactly would he stay with NXT? Same thing goes for Kyle O'Reilly. Both of these men's services are no longer needed. The new school has now taken over NXT, and there's only one remaining piece until every aspect of Triple H is finally abolished. And that is the NXT Championship and Tommaso Ciampa. War Games tonight was a very up and down show. I liked a lot of what I saw. I hated a lot of what I saw. It was a very hot and cold show. The women's War Games match was absolutely unnecessary, and it was absolutely one of the most boring War Games matches you could possibly ever produce. There was nothing in that match that spoke to me as being memorable. The other War Games match that we got with the women completely blew this one out of the water. I don't know why anybody would look at this and then look at that and say this was better than that. No fucking way in hell. You can't have a War Games match with 8 women and create a narrative in 3 weeks and then have it come off as good. You could throw 8 people in a random War Games match and you could do all these types of chaos. That doesn't mean I'm going to care. It was very, very, very unmemorable. There was nothing in that match that stood out to me outside of what WWE clearly did with Cora Jade. Cora Jade was pushed, and she was given a big spotlighted role in that match. And WWE clearly is way over the moon with Cora Jade. I don't know why. So quick, so soon. She's only 20 years old. What does it need to push her and strap the rocket to her so quick at the age of 20 years old? She's a baby. Why don't we get her to mature a little bit before we start planning parades and championships and making her the face of the division? There's no rush for none of this. But WWE clearly thinks another way. They need to create stars now. But the thing is, you create stars, there's 2 ways to do it. One, overproduced, overmanufactured, not genuine. Or you can just let them be and let nature take its course and let time take its course and be patient, and they will be better off for it. I don't understand why WWE needed to spotlight one woman while not really spotlighting anybody else in that match. Even Toxic Attraction has kind of fallen off in the last couple of weeks, and they hold all the championships in NXT. They hold every single women's championship in NXT, and they aren't even being treated as the top priority in the division anymore. The women's match was very, very unmemorable. The men's match, complete polar opposite of what we got with the women. I don't want to sit here and tell you that it was the best NXT War Games match that they've done. But if I was to do a top 3, the first 2 are definitely going to be number 1 and 2. The first 2 War Games matches that Triple H ever did in NXT, they're going to be at the top. And then I would probably put this one in the top 3. Now, I'm not giving Bruce Prichard or Vince McMahon any credit for what the main event did tonight. I'm giving all the credit and I'm giving all the praise from me to the 8 men that were in that ring tonight. That was a damn good fucking main event. And I honestly think, even though I don't like what it symbolizes, and I'm not on board with the old school versus the new school, because I know what it really means. I know what it symbolizes, and I'm not going to be a podcaster in the community that's going to back that type of agenda. I don't agree with that. I know what it means, and I don't want any part of it. I'm not going to sit here and support something like that because that goes directly against what Triple H did with the old NXT. But as far as what we got in that main event, the old school versus new school mentality and that old school versus new school feud actually kind of raised the stakes to a great point in this match where it came off somewhat memorable. Now, I don't know why it did, but I honestly think whatever is remaining, the remnants of the old NXT, it lived in all 4 of those guys' hearts. LA Knight is not really old school NXT. He's more so a part of the middle class of NXT. He got brought in there, and he's not really a new school. He's not really an old school. He's almost the black sheep of NXT. But I love LA Knight. I think LA Knight is great. But the remnants of NXT honestly lived in all 4 of these guys' hearts. They all knew how important it was to them, and it somehow enhanced the match. The intensity got raised a level. And then clearly you got the new school guys. They want to prove to the veterans that they do belong. They want to prove to the veterans that this is our brand now and not your brand anymore. But at the end of the day, I really can't get behind it and support it because, like I said, I know what it symbolically means. But it somehow, in a crazy way, enhanced the match. And there's a lot to like about NXT. Jacy said something to me before I actually went live, and I absolutely agree with him. I don't really trust the current management team because I know exactly who they are. But Jacy said something to me that really made me think, can you imagine if Triple H was still in charge and he had a Bron Breakker and a Tony D'Angelo and a Grayson Waller and a Carmelo Hayes in his grasp, and he was creatively driving NXT with this talent? I'd love to see those 4 guys and what they would be creatively booked as under Triple H. That's what gets my brain going. And WWE chose the 4 right guys for this match. There's a lot to like about these matches. Or there's a lot to like about NXT and their new school class. Bron Breakker is very good. There's nothing to really dislike about Bron Breakker. The name is even getting a little easier on the tongue. Slips off the tongue a little bit easier nowadays. Bron Breakker. I think we've all gotten used to it. Rex Steiner is a lot more cooler of a name. It's much cooler, right? And I love the homage and the throwback to the family name, but Bron Breakker is getting a little bit more easier to digest. There's nothing to dislike about Bron Breakker. He's very good, and he's going to be very good. You see WWE's very high on him. Same thing with Carmelo Hayes. I don't think Carmelo Hayes is ready for a main roster call-up anytime soon, but Carmelo Hayes, you see the type of athlete Carmelo Hayes is, and you see how good he really is. And he's only going to get better. Tony D'Angelo, he shined tonight. I'm looking at Tony D'Angelo tonight, and I'm saying to myself, this guy's going to be a fucking stud, man. You know, the gimmick may be a little cheesy to some people. I don't think it's cheesy. The gimmick, and I don't know what you guys are thinking about when you look at gimmicks like Tony D'Angelo. I love it because I'm Sicilian. I love the stereotypes. I love the hand gestures. I love the accent. I love the fact that he comes out in a fucking tracksuit. I love the fact that he wears gold chains and fancy watches and he just does what he's got to do. Gabagool. I love all that shit. I love it. Because I know people that are like that. I got family that's like that. But with Tony D'Angelo, I'm watching Tony tonight in the ring. And I'm saying to myself, remember Razor Ramon? Remember Scott Hall back in the day when he came out right before, he made his debut on WWF television. He teamed with Ric Flair, and he was a part of the 92 Survivor Series, and he came out with this South Florida really greasy gimmick. Hey, yo, Razor Ramon with the fucking toothpick and all. That's what I look at when I look at Tony D'Angelo, and that's a great comparison because Razor Ramon was a great fucking talent. I loved the gimmick. It was over the top. He was great in the ring. He lived the gimmick. He lived the character. I look at Tony D'Angelo and I see old school Razor Ramon, that type of vibe. And he plays it so well. So there's a lot to like about Tony D'Angelo. To me, that's a main event gimmick waiting to happen. There's money to be made off of a Tony D'Angelo. That's the type of shit I live for. I'm not saying NXT 2.0 is a complete failure. It's not. When you look at Tony D'Angelo and Bron Breakker and Carmelo Hayes, I can't sit here and tell you that it's a complete failure. They chose the right 4 guys to put in that match. Those 4 guys I'm completely behind. Grayson Waller is he's a little stunad to me. Grayson Waller. I don't know what he's supposed to be. Is he supposed to be a TikTok, Instagram influencer gimmick? What's with the basketball shorts? Or the boxing trunks? What is that about? The guy is absolutely incredible in the ring. He's fucking good. But what is he supposed to be? I can't get behind the gimmick. I can get behind a Breakker. I could get behind a Tony D'Angelo. I could get behind a Carmelo Hayes. But what is Grayson Waller? Who is Grayson Waller? So that main event had a lot to like. But like I said, the symbolism of what it meant, I can't sit here and support. It's almost as if they did it on purpose. They knew what they were doing. The other big match tonight, and what I thought was the match of the night, to be honest with you. What I thought was the match of the night, to be honest with you, Imperium. Imperium against Von Wagner. I still don't know what a fucking Von Wagner is. I'm waiting for somebody to tell me what the fuck a Von Wagner is, man. And Kyle O'Reilly for the NXT Tag Team Championships. That was a great fucking tag team match, man. That shit kicked all sorts of ass tonight. That may actually have been not only the best match in NXT 2.0 so far, that may have been one of the best tag team matches that WWE itself has given us all year. That shit was great. And most of that has to do with how great Imperium is. Do not sleep on Imperium. Fabian Aichner and Marcel Barthel are absolutely incredible. Again, there's a lot to like about NXT 2.0, but those guys are NXT 1.0. Those are Triple H guys. I'm expecting them to be fucking incredible. I'm expecting them to be top of the top. There's a lot to like there. They may be the best tag team in all of WWE. There's no way you bring these guys to the main roster and you don't make money off of Fabian Aichner and Marcel Barthel. None. Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner, never understood the partnership there. Felt very forced. It felt very random. Nobody was ever going to get behind that because everybody knew where Kyle O'Reilly came from. Everybody knew that Kyle O'Reilly's best friends were now gone. Adam Cole, gone. Roderick Strong doing his own thing in Diamond Mine. Bobby Fish, gone. Everybody knew where Kyle O'Reilly came from. And now they're pairing him with Von Wagner. Now we see why WWE paired Kyle O'Reilly with Von Wagner. They had everybody else tied up in the main event. They had Bron Breakker tied up with Ciampa. They had Johnny Gargano tied up with Carmelo Hayes. They got Pete Dunne tied up with Tony D'Angelo. Where is old school Kyle O'Reilly going to fit in, and who is he going to put over? What new school stud is he going to put over? He's been given the homework of Von Wagner. And after tonight, you saw where that was going. But at the end of this match, not only did we get a good tag team match, we got Kyle O'Reilly pretty much telling everybody where he stood. Von Wagner turning on Kyle O'Reilly. And now we're getting Kyle O'Reilly versus Von Wagner in a steel cage match on Tuesday night, which will signal the end of Kyle O'Reilly's NXT run. And WWE's run with Kyle O'Reilly is all over. And then Joe Gacy with the Cruiserweight Championship, Roderick Strong. They bypassed the weight limit to give Gacy the opportunity tonight. There were rumors going around that Joe Gacy was going to win the championship and turn it into an all-inclusive championship. That did not happen, which I was genuinely shocked by. And I'm kind of disappointed that it didn't happen because WWE really hasn't given any care or really any investment to the Cruiserweight division. So what exactly are they doing with the title is beyond me. I have no idea. So Gacy not winning the championship was actually not really a good look, in my opinion. I would have rather him win the championship and then get rid of the title because 205 Live and the Cruiserweight Championship really don't hold any value anymore in this version of NXT. So we're going to go over this show and we're going to do what we got to do. We got some news coming out of the show as well. And we got this NXT questionnaire that they sent out this week about what you like and what you don't like about the show. So I figured we'd have some fun and we'd do the questionnaire tonight live on the post show. Thank you guys very much for joining me, man. We got 2,200 live here in the venue. Thank you guys very much for joining me on a Sunday night. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, man. Hit that thumbs up down below. We got 2,200, but I'm only seeing 673 likes on the live stream chat. There should be at least 1,000. Can we get 1,000 likes on the live stream tonight, man? Hit that thumbs up if you have not done so. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. My personal goal is to get to 130,000 subscribers before the end of the year, man. We are well on our way there, but you guys got to keep it up. So if you're new around here and haven't hit that subscribe button, please hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that bell for notifications. Make sure you guys go check out all the other videos that you might have missed on the channel. There is a ton of content, and we went live yesterday for Off the Script, episode 399. So if you missed any of that, it is on the homepage right now. Go and check that out. So episode 400 is coming up, man. I'm not doing anything special for episode 400. We're all business. People have already been asking me, JD, you doing anything special for 400? No. I'm not doing anything special for 400. It's all business every week. Just another show, and it should be a great one. So go check out episode 399 if you have not done so yet. Follow me on Twitter at JDfromNY206. That is Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you guys go and get your t-shirts, man. We got those new throwback Off the Script t-shirts. OTS, NWO throwback, LTB, long-term booking, Wolfpack throwback. Right now available on bonfire.com. You guys can use code SCRIPT on Bonfire and save 15% off for the next week. So make sure you guys go and do that for me if you have not picked up your new merchandise yet. And tonight's show is sponsored by my great friends over at Manscaped, manscaped.com. You guys are going to use code SCRIPT20 to get yourself some Manscaped, man. I want to thank them once again for supporting the podcast right here on Off the Scripts. Always great to have Manscaped on board. Let's start with the women's War Games match. This was the first match to open up War Games tonight, and I really wasn't a big fan of what happened here in this match. It went over 30 minutes. 30 minutes. This War Games match was Kaylee Ray, Raquel Gonzalez, Zeo Shirai, and Cora Jade versus Dakota Kai, Toxic Attraction, Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolin, and Jacy Jayne. I did not like this War Games match. There were a couple of people online that always have to question my opinion. It's my fucking opinion. Why does everybody have to be so combative and so argumentative when I say something on social media? Does it really irk you that badly when I tell you what I'm really feeling and I don't sugarcoat shit? I did not like this War Games match. This was the worst women's War Games match that we have been given under the NXT banner. There was nothing memorable about this match. It was sloppy. It was very, very uncoordinated. It was forced. It was overproduced. Nothing about it spoke to me as being memorable. And that's what I live for, man. I want something that's going to have a lasting impression on me. Nothing about this match left a lasting impression on me, and I probably would not go back and ever watch this match again. I would not. There's no reason for me to. WWE had 8 women in this match, 3 of which hold all the women's championships in NXT. Cora Jade is a bright young star. Zeo Shirai has already been asked about maybe making the jump to the main roster. Be careful what you wish for, Miss Zeo. Nobody wants to see you on the main roster because they know exactly what would happen to you on the main roster. Matches with Sasha and Bayley and Becky and Charlotte, yeah, it's great. But do you think you are ever going to break through that ceiling of being a part of the elite on the main roster? I don't think so. And we all know she is as good, if not better, than all of those women. Raquel Gonzalez seems to be an afterthought on NXT. Seems like WWE doesn't know what to do with Raquel Gonzalez. She's just there. After dropping the championship, after what was a very unmemorable title reign, she really hasn't done much of anything. Kaylee Ray, I was never a big fan of Kaylee Ray. Very good in the ring, but I'm not a big fan of Kaylee Ray. She's just there. She gave the match a veteran presence tonight along with Zeo. That's why she was there. And Dakota Kai. I'm a big Dakota Kai fan. I've always been a big Dakota Kai fan. I've always advocated for Dakota Kai to be pushed a little bit more than what they were giving her. And you got to give Dakota Kai credit, man. She constantly is changing things about her to fit in all these different situations that she's going to be a part of. She looked fantastic tonight. I'm a big Dakota Kai supporter. And you got to give her some credit for really molding herself to kind of fit with the changing times, because the changing times seem to be happening more and more every single week. And she fits right in. She looked great. Physically, she looked great tonight. But this match left nothing as far as a memorable impression on me. One of the worst War Games matches that we've gotten, and easily the worst War Games match as far as the ladies are concerned since we started doing the ladies' War Games matches. So, Rose is leading Toxic Attraction. Rose took a loss to Cora Jade on NXT TV a couple of weeks ago. And Toxic Attraction really hasn't been, I would say, as big of a priority as of late. It seems WWE is constantly changing who they want to push and who they want to focus on. Cora Jade is the first entrant. She got a skateboard in the ring. Kai is there for the heels. Kai avoided some shots, took an enziguri running knee. The babyface team had the 2-on-1 advantage, which kind of goes against the War Games way of things. It's usually the heels that get the advantage. That doesn't really bother me as much because I don't really care about that stuff. Typically, it's a heel-dominated match, and they usually get the one-up on the babyfaces, but it's nice to switch it up every now and then. You can't give the heels the 2-on-1 advantage every single time, so it was actually quite nice to see the babyfaces get the 2-on-1 advantage here in the War Games. So Kaylee Ray is in there. Cora Jade is in there. They worked together to beat down Dakota Kai. And Gigi Dolin, who got a big reaction from the Full Sail crowd, the PC crowd, the WWE Performance Center crowd, chanting, "We want Gigi, we want Gigi." So she comes in, and she goes underneath the ring, which is a common theme in this match. She went underneath the ring and brought in a trash can and a duffel bag. I don't know what was in the duffel bag, but she brought it in anyway. And the duffel bag then was not used anytime during the match. She tossed the trash can at Cora Jade, took her down with a pump kick, hit an STO and a German suplex on Kaylee Ray. The heel team was now in control. And she then landed a drop kick did Cora Jade on Dolin through, I believe, a trash can. And then Kaylee Ray hit a move on Dakota Kai, also using the trash can. Next up was Zeo Shirai. She came in and she brought in chairs. She went underneath the ring and brought in steel chairs. So we're seeing a common theme here of all the women who come out of the shark cages, which are in the crowd tonight. Normally they were on the stage when Triple H did War Games. They were in the crowd. They were on opposite sides of the crowd. So there was 3 rows of crowd. You got one on the left, one down the center, and then one on the right. They were in between the center row of fans at the Performance Center, which I actually quite liked. I thought it was a different take, and I thought the aesthetics of it looked great. They came through the crowd when the buzzer went off, and then they went into the match as scheduled. So Io Shirai goes underneath the ring and brings in chairs. So this allowed Kaylee Ray and Dolin to obviously go at it. They had chairs all over the place. Very, very sloppy. Nothing really memorable, like I said, up until this point. Jade hit a Hurricanrana on the heels. Jacy Jayne then came in. Second entry for Kai's team. This evened up the odds in the match. She brought in a table. She goes underneath the ring and she brings in a table. So Jacy Jayne is coming into the match, and now she goes underneath the ring and she brings in a table. Kaylee Ray was pump kicked through 2 chairs. There was a slight miscommunication that led Jacy Jayne kicking Miss Gigi Dolin. So they accidentally hit each other there. Some miscommunication. Toxic Attraction took themselves out. Io Shirai hit the corner knees, the Meteora, with a trash can lid. Kaylee Ray's team isolated Jayne and then put her on a table, leading to Cora Jade climbing all the way up to the top of the cage. This was easily, by far and away, the best spot of the entire night for the women. Not the best spot of the night for the entire show, but easily the best spot of the entire night for the women. She goes up and she does this senton off of the top of the cage, right down through the table and Jacy Jayne. I honestly thought she did not connect with it all the way. I thought she wasn't going to make a full rotation, and she didn't. She came down, she landed in spectacular fashion through the table, but she also looked like she injured her shoulder. I hope to God that she did not injure her shoulder, because it looked like she might have injured her shoulder, separated her shoulder, broken an arm. It looked absolutely fucking brutal. It looked great. It sounded great. But the fall, I can't see if that did Miss Cora Jade any favors. It looked like she legitimately got hurt. This was easily the best match, or the best spot of the match, for the entire 30 minutes that they were there. So after that, we got Jade, and this is why I thought she was legitimately hurt. She started looking around, looking for the medical team. Then you see the medical team on the outside of the cage try and, ask her if she's all right. I legitimately thought she was hurt. She was holding her arm. She was selling the fact that she had potentially injured her arm. I don't know what was going on. So she crawls over to the entrance of the cage, and the doctors and the medical staff are there. And then Io Shirai comes over and says, no. After everything just stopped to take care of Cora Jade. That's why I thought, again, she was hurt. Io Shirai says, no, I'm going to take care of it. She closes the door of the cage, doesn't allow anybody in, and then she pops Cora Jade's shoulder back in place, right in the ring. Now, I didn't know what to think of this. Is she still hurt? Is this all for show? Is this an act? If she's not hurt, great. I hope she's not hurt. But if this is a storyline to fuel this match, it's kind of weird that everything just stopped all of a sudden, because I legitimately thought she was hurt. Maybe that's a good thing. So they pop Cora Jade's shoulder back into place, and she pretty much was out of commission for the rest of the match up until the end. But I quite liked the fact that Io Shirai took it upon herself to man up and told Cora Jade to man up and popped her shoulder back into place. It was kind of weirdly interesting. Never really seen anything like that happen in a War Games match, but Io Shirai popped Cora Jade's shoulder back into place. So, last in for Kaylee Ray's team is Raquel Gonzalez, who then also walked by the ring, down to the ring, and went underneath the ring and brought in more weapons. So we got kendo sticks into the fray now. Every one of these women went underneath the ring to bring in a weapon. I didn't know that was the MO for these War Games matches. This was one of those critiques that I have for the women's War Games match. You didn't really see the men do this. They did it in one shot. But normally War Games is about two teams battling each other and it's fists. And fists are flying. It's nothing more than a street fight. But maybe I'm more of an old school mentality. I didn't understand why all the women had to go underneath the ring. Every time they came and entered the match, they went underneath the ring and brought in different weapons. To me, that's overcompensating for the lack of ability by most of the women in this match. If one woman brings in weapons, fine. But when every woman in the match brings in weapons, it kind of waters down the illusion of bringing in weapons to the match. It's not special anymore. So if one woman did it, fine. But you had all these other women that came out from the shark cage, enter the ring, and bring in weapons. It doesn't really make bringing weapons into the ring special anymore. So WWE, to me, kind of fucked up on that. That was actually not a good thing to me. That was actually kind of lame. So Raquel Gonzalez brings in some kendo sticks, and Kai and Dolin shut the door. Gonzalez made it back by spraying them with a fire extinguisher, so she got back in the ring after the two ladies closed the door on her with a fire extinguisher. She then completely laid waste to everybody in the ring, dropping Kay in a trash can, swinging her around. She legitimately took out the trash. Then we got a lot of the ladies climbing the cage. Gonzalez took out two opponents with a double spine buster. Then did the same thing to Kai and put her in a trash can again. Shirai crushed Kai with a moonsault on the trash can. It looked like it did not affect Dakota Kai at all. It actually looked like the moonsault did more damage to Zeo Shirai, but I'm not sure she even cared. She was actually happy she did the moonsault, and she was giving herself a standing ovation. Kind of lame there. That spot did not go off as well. Mandy Rose was the final entrant. So now pinfalls and submissions were now the only way to win the match. The two teams ended up on either side of the structure. So we had the battle lines drawn, that classic, heel team versus babyface team, and all four of them are lined up against each other. And we got them meeting in the middle, and there's a big war that happens. Whatever. Same shit, kind of lame. So they are in the middle of the structure now fighting. Kaylee Ray cornered Cora Jade, and it looked like she was going to attack Cora Jade for being hurt and not really helping her team. I thought Kaylee Ray was going to actually turn on her own teammate, but she didn't. She took a kendo stick to Dakota Kai and then threw the kendo stick to Cora Jade and said, "Get back in the fucking match. Let's win this thing." Eventually, everything turned to Gonzalez. She tried to hit a double powerbomb on Jacy, Jayne, and Dolin, but then was cut off by a kendo stick from Rose. Toxic Attraction then took out Gonzalez with some chair shots. It was broken up by Jade, still selling the shoulder. Jade eventually fought back with a kendo stick, was overwhelmed by all of the heels. Rose hit a running knee for a near fall. We had a fury of big moves here, and everybody was down. Cora Jade suddenly, out of nowhere, covered Jacy, Jayne for the win, and that was it. That was pretty much the end of the match. Cora Jade did this one big senton off of the cage, landing through a table on Jacy, Jayne, sat out most of the match up until the ending. She got beat down a little bit by Mandy Rose, but then at the end, she ends up getting the victory for her team, and Cora Jade wins War Games for her, Raquel Gonzalez, Zeo Shirai, and Kaylee Ray. To me, nothing really memorable happened in that match outside of Cora Jade. That was it. And I'm not really sure WWE putting the rocket pack on Cora Jade is the right thing to do so suddenly and so quick. Why aren't we letting things naturally happen? I feel like she just got introduced to TV. She really hasn't done much of anything at all. She wrestled Taya Valkyrie, I believe, in one match. She beat Mandy Rose and pinned Mandy Rose in a non-title match. Unless they're setting up Cora Jade to pin Mandy Rose and beat Mandy Rose for the NXT Women's Championship. I just don't see why Cora Jade needs to be pushed so fast. We haven't even seen much of her at all. To me, she still is as green as the cash that's sitting in my fucking wallet right now. There's nothing really overly spectacular about Cora Jade to a point where you want to see her fucking absolutely shot up to the top of the NXT women's division. Does she have potential? Of course she does. Does she have a great look? Of course she does. Is she going to be beneficial to WWE about gravitating to the younger audience? Of course she's going to do that. But that shit is going to come in time. There's no reason to force something that really isn't ready to happen yet. Yeah, Cora Jade got the spotlight tonight. They did the whole injury angle and she won the match with the big spot off the top. But at the same time, Toxic Attraction looks like a bunch of losers. They dominate the division. And it seems like they just won those championships and Mandy Rose just won the women's championship. They haven't done anything with those women since they won the championships. In fact, they are not making the championships in NXT look good at all. They are not a dominating group at all. They look the part. But the only reason why Toxic Attraction is there at the forefront is because of their sex appeal. That's it. WWE needs to gravitate this show towards a younger audience. And that's what they're thinking. That's how they're going to do it, with Toxic Attraction sex appeal. They're not putting the championships on Toxic Attraction to lead the fucking division the way it needs to be led. It's all a fucking act. They don't even look like a dominating group anymore. Especially the last couple of weeks. Raquel Gonzalez feels like an afterthought. Dakota Kai feels like an afterthought. Zeo Shirai feels like an afterthought. Kaylee Ray, maybe she's next in line by what we've seen on NXT television. Maybe she's next in line for Mandy Rose. I don't know. I don't know what they're planning on doing. But they put the spotlight on one woman, and everybody else in this match kind of feels like an afterthought. To me, that doesn't really sound even. One doesn't really equal the other. Everybody should have looked good in this match, but only one did. Not really how you build up new superstars on Tuesday night. The match is an absolute miss. The worst War Games match that they've done, and the worst ladies War Games match we've seen so far. And don't combat my opinion. There was nothing about that match outside of Cora Jade with that senton that spoke to me as being, oh my God, memorable. There's a bunch of weapons to overcompensate for everybody's lack of skill, thinking that, oh my God, let's create some chaos with weapons. Let's mask everything that could go wrong in this match with weapons. And that's all it was for 30 minutes. The match would have been better served as an elimination 8-woman tag. That's it. War Games didn't need to happen with the ladies this year. It was overhyped. It was overproduced and clearly manufactured to be something that it wasn't. There was no emotional investment there. The last women's War Games matches that we've seen, they had somewhat of a build. This did not. I don't constitute 3 weeks as a fucking build enough to be inside of War Games. But this is how Bruce Prichard and Vince McMahon do things on Tuesday night. The WWE way. Last minute booking. Imperium. Marcel Bartel and Fabian Eichner against Kyle O'Reilly and my boy Von Wagner. This was easily, to me, the best match of the night. I thought this was the best match of the night. The War Games match was great, but I love this match, man. It was high octane. I love tag team wrestling. I think Imperium is incredible. And it was a finale for Mr. Kyle O'Reilly. Bartel and O'Reilly started things off here. Eichner quickly tagged in, taking down his opponent, O'Reilly, with an arm drag. Wagner entered the match, hit a back suplex, a diving headbutt. O'Reilly tagged back in. He was isolated by Imperium. O'Reilly and Von Wagner got this tag team title match because they beat Legado del Fantasma on Tuesday's episode of NXT, so that crowned them the number one contenders for the tag team championships. O'Reilly tagged back in. He was then isolated by Imperium, and they took over the match. Aichner caught Wagner with his shoulders and hit a great senton, and it was a beautiful show of strength. Fabian Aichner is a fucking savage, man. This guy was doing squats with Von Wagner on his shoulders. O'Reilly regained control with a flurry of strikes on Bartel. Aichner, who was the illegal man, cut him off with some kicks, allowing Bartel to take him down with a great lariat. Wagner got a tag. He ran wild on Imperium with some big overhead throws and some suplexes. It's not really difficult to see why Vince McMahon loves Von Wagner. He's got a great look. I will give him that. But I don't know what is the guy's personality or gimmick. Who is he supposed to be? That's the thing we don't get with Von Wagner. Von Wagner has shown glimpses of being a very good pro wrestler. He's got enough. He's got what it takes to do what he's got to do in the ring. But what is he? Who is he? That's what I care about the most. I need to find some emotional investment in who Von Wagner is. Until I get that, I'm going to continue calling him Buffalo Bill of NXT. I'm going to continue put the lotion in the basket, Von Wagner, because that's exactly what he looks like. In fact, Buffalo Bill had more charisma than fucking Von Wagner, man. And he hid himself away from the general public. I want to know what this guy is about so I could fucking give myself an opportunity to care. That's what I want to do. So, Wagner got the tag. He was throwing around Imperium. He dropped Bartel with the back suplex on the apron. O'Reilly landed a diving knee on Aichner. Imperium used their numbers advantage to take out Von Wagner, set him up for a double dropkick. Went for the Imperial bomb, but Wagner fought out, chokeslammed Aichner onto Bartel. O'Reilly tagged in. He locked on a heel hook. Aichner broke it up with a very nice double springboard moonsault. Fabian Aichner is fucking incredible, man. He really is. I don't see how WWE cannot make money off of Imperium in the tag team division. These guys are simply amazing. Wagner took out Bartel as O'Reilly locked on a guillotine on Aichner. Aichner powered out. O'Reilly turned it into a cradle. Bartel modified the cradle for a good near fall there. O'Reilly went for his rebound lariat. Aichner met him with one of his own. Double down here. Wagner and Bartel are now in. They're trading right hands in the center of the ring. Aichner knocked down Wagner with a chop block. O'Reilly and Wagner then hit a high-low on Bartel for a very good near fall. Referee was slow on the count. He was distracted by Aichner. Bartel then baited Wagner to the floor and tagged in Aichner, who hit a beautiful step-up dive on Wagner to the outside. Back in the ring, O'Reilly caught Aichner with a brainbuster for a near fall. That looked great. He locked on a cross-arm breaker and then transitioned into a triangle. Aichner powered O'Reilly up, and Imperium hit the Imperial bomb for the 1, 2, 3. Imperium retains the NXT Tag Team Championships. After the match was over, Kyle O'Reilly, he was given a standing ovation to chants of "Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Kyle." Von Wagner was in the back. He really wasn't doing much. If anything, he was waiting for his cue after O'Reilly was bowing to the crowd and showing his appreciation to the NXT crowd. Von Wagner tried to clothesline Kyle O'Reilly from behind, but he was immediately taken down by O'Reilly with a forearm smash. O'Reilly was then throwing up the undisputed hand gesture, the undisputed era hand gesture, and doing "suck it" to Von Wagner, and that was the way the post-match attack ended. Now, I don't know what the Undisputed Era hand signs meant to Von Wagner. People were decoding that as, oh yeah, he's going to join AEW, which I do think is a foregone conclusion. He will end up joining AEW. He could show up on AEW Wednesday night, for all I know. But Von Wagner tried to attack Kyle O'Reilly. I didn't really get the post-match attack after this match because I have a lot more questions than answers. The first thing that popped in my head was, clearly, that's not really a way you send somebody out on his way out of NXT. Does this mean Kyle O'Reilly is continuing the feud with Von Wagner? Normally, Von Wagner, if he attacked Kyle O'Reilly and laid him laying, That would kind of signal that Kyle O'Reilly is on his way out. But Kyle O'Reilly, is he staying or is he going? That was the question that I had at the end of this segment, because it didn't really add up. And the other thing is, he threw up the undisputed hand gesture. What does that mean? Is there anything behind that? Yelling, "This is a brotherhood" to Von Wagner. And then Von Wagner, the question I have about Von Wagner is, clearly WWE is high on Von Wagner, but the thing is, I don't know if you want to put Von Wagner in a situation where people don't like him. Clearly, people are going to be pro Kyle O'Reilly in a feud with Von Wagner. So you quintessentially turned him heel against Kyle O'Reilly, and people already don't like Von Wagner for obvious reasons. They don't know who the fuck he is. He may be a decent wrestler, but nobody knows who the fuck he is. I don't think it's really in Von Wagner's best interest, or in WWE's best interest, I should say, to put Von Wagner in a situation where he's not really getting over with the crowd. He's not getting over with the crowd now, and if he's a heel, I don't think people are really going to give two shits about Von Wagner. So I was very confused about what they were doing there. So Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner will continue on Tuesday night. Kyle O'Reilly said, "We're going to leave the cage up. You want to do this shit? Fine. We're going to end it on Tuesday night. Steel cage match, Kyle O'Reilly versus Von Wagner." Everybody was thinking this was the last hurrah for Kyle O'Reilly. Clearly, that is going to wait till Tuesday. WWE is going to have Von Wagner go over Kyle O'Reilly in a steel cage match. Goodbye, Kyle O'Reilly. We'll see you on Dynamite on Wednesday. Maybe. But WWE is going to use Kyle O'Reilly to get Von Wagner over, and I don't know how well that's going to go and work out for Von Wagner. They need to do a lot of work to start getting people to care about Von Wagner. But at the end, this was an excellent tag team title match. The best match, in my honest opinion, of the entire night. Next up was hair versus hair. Cameron Grimes defeated Duke Hudson in a hair versus hair match. Now, I don't know what you guys were thinking. To me, I'm looking at Duke Hudson and I'm looking at Cameron Grimes, and I'm saying to myself, I don't want to see either one of these guys lose any of their hair. I don't want to see Cameron Grimes without hair. I don't want to see Duke Hudson without hair. But if I had to choose one, I would say I don't want to see Cameron Grimes lose his hair. And that's where I thought they were going with this. You see the clear indication of what Vince McMahon wants to do with Cameron Grimes. He's somewhat changed Cameron Grimes over the last couple weeks. He's no more that Southern playboy millionaire that he was. He's not coming out with the $1 Million Man inspired trunks. He's not coming out throwing the money around. He's not throwing around stock tips and fucking bragging about how rich he is. They took all of that and kind of went in a different direction with Cameron Grimes. If you guys look at his appearance, they obviously cut his hair a little bit. And if you look at his chest, they shaved his chest. I would say some of it remains, but the hairy chest of Cameron Grimes is now maybe 90% compared to what it was. He is undergoing some sort of, I don't want to say gimmick change, but an appearance change, all to appease Vince McMahon and Bruce Prichard. The hairy chest is almost gone. The hair is cut. He's a little bit more cleaned up. The beard is shaved, right? Or trimmed, I should say. So he's undergoing some sort of appearance change because he needs to look the part if he's going to be working for Vince McMahon and Bruce Prichard. How long that lasts, I have no idea. I have no clue. I personally enjoyed the $1 Million Man inspired gimmick, but you can't have that gimmick while Happy Corbin is running around doing his fucking thing on Friday night. Those two gimmicks seem too similar. So maybe also that had to do something with WWE changing Cameron Grimes as well. They didn't want two gimmicks that somewhat have similarities. Duke Hudson, I like the poker gimmick. I think the poker gimmick works very well for Duke Hudson. I don't know how often we're going to get poker-themed vignettes with Duke Hudson. You know, I love if he just cuts a vignette or a promo behind the poker table, doing what he's got to do. I actually quite enjoyed the poker game between Cameron Grimes and Duke Hudson on NXT a couple of weeks back, where Cameron Grimes was powerbombed through the poker table. I actually quite enjoyed that. I love me a couple of games of poker, man. So to me, the gimmick is relatable because I'm a fan of poker. I love playing Texas Hold'em. But how often can you do something like that? That's going to be a once-in-a-blue type of thing. You can't overexpose that type of vignette or that type of segment on the show. Otherwise, he'd be playing poker with everybody he's in the ring with. But Duke Hudson has incredible upside. He's got a gimmick working for him. He's got a great look. He's not bad in the ring. And I know Vince McMahon was high on Duke Hudson because if you guys remember, I forgot the name he was under when he was on the main roster. He was actually teaming with Shane Thorne, who got released in the last round of budget cuts. He was teaming with Shane Thorne in the middle of a pandemic at an empty WWE Performance Center on Monday Night Raw, and he was being managed by MVP. It looked like MVP was going to be managing Duke Hudson and Shane Thorne at one point. So I know Vince McMahon was high on him then because there were reports that Vince McMahon looks at a guy like Duke Hudson and he's incredibly high on Duke Hudson. And so am I. I think he's got incredible upside. But who do I want to win this match? I don't want to see any one of these guys lose their hair. But I think Cameron Grimes needs to win this match. I don't want to see Cameron Grimes dressed as a fucking cue ball. I don't want to see him out there. Brendan Vink, that's his name. Yes, Brendan Vink. He was big on Brendan Vink. I don't want to see Cameron Grimes come out there on Tuesday night looking like fucking Sam Roberts. Can't even call him Brillo Head anymore. This match was, not really anything to this match. I think everybody was waiting for the end. Pretty decent, not terrible, but everybody was waiting until who got their head shaved. Not really takeover level either, I would say, or not. It's not really a takeover. It's not really a pay-per-view level match. This was more like a regular TV match on a pay-per-view event for NXT. So we got Hudson overpowering Grimes right at the top. They sent him over the top rope to the steel steps to the outside. Grimes came back with a cannonball senton. He tried to keep up, but Hudson stopped him with a Uranagi. Grimes came back with a nice moonsault for Hudson and a 2 count. Hudson tossed Grimes hard to the floor. Match was pretty much in Duke Hudson's favor with Grimes being beat down. Grimes flipped out of a suplex, hit an enziguri to start his comeback. The backflip, power slam for a 2. He fought out of a slam with a DDT for another 2 count. Grimes hit a soccer-style kick, sunset flip. Hudson turned it into a cradle and grabbed the ropes for leverage. Hudson tried to cheat by grabbing the ropes. The officials saw this and stopped the count. Grimes did a nice reverse Rana, high cross body for another near fall. Hudson came back with a black hole slam, or what Vic Joseph called the boss man slam, for a 2 count. He then went for a razor's edge, but Grimes countered out of it with a Hurricane Rana and rolled up Mr. Hudson with the tights for the 1, 2, 3. Duke Hudson did not want his head shaved. He attacked Grimes, and I loved how they used the 2 rings for this match. The match actually took place in the first ring, and then the barber chair was given a spotlight on it, and they set it up in the second ring. So I liked the use of the second ring for this match. In fact, the entire show I thought was actually pretty well shot, depending on what we were going to get with WarGames. You know, WarGames typically is spaced out because they need to make, room for all those, the 2 steel cages. But I like the use of the 2 rings tonight. I thought they did a very good job with that. But Hudson didn't want his head shaved. He attacked Grimes. Grimes hit a cave-in eventually and put him in the barber's chair. Grimes then took the razor and shaved the top of Hudson's hair before he realized what was going on and ran away. So he took the razor right up the middle of his head and shaved Duke Hudson. And then we saw a little glimpse of Duke Hudson shaved, with his head shaved. He didn't look too bad. He didn't look terrible, but I didn't want to see any of these guys get their head shaved. But I'd rather it be Duke Hudson than Cameron Grimes. The hair will grow back, and Duke Hudson will be fine. And Cameron Grimes got a victory tonight that I think he needed. And the fans are clearly behind Cameron Grimes. I don't think any of those people would have been happy if Duke Hudson shaved Cameron Grimes' head off. So, the right guy won, in my opinion. I think Cameron Grimes was the right way to go. They announced New Year's Evil for January 4, 2022. That's where I say WWE rings in the new year with Bron Breakker and Tommaso Ciampa NXT Championship. We get Bron Breakker as the new NXT Champion. We saw a lot of video vignettes tonight highlighting some of NXT's talent. Kacy Catanzaro, Caden Carter, the Grizzled Young Veterans. I don't know what they're doing with the Grizzled Young Veterans. That was such a weird fucking vignette for them. Ikemen Jiro. I don't know what it is with this guy, man. This guy is Cringe City. Cringe City is Ikemen Jiro. Showing his jackets. I don't know what the fuck they were doing with this guy, man. They showed him wearing his jackets. And then they showed him on some sort of diet regimen. He was eating ice cream and pizza and candy and whatever else that he was doing. And then all of a sudden we see him run to the fucking bathroom and he's farting and he's shitting in a toilet and it looked like something out of Dumb and Dumber. It reminded me of fucking Dumb and Dumber, where Jeff Daniels is in the fucking bathroom and the toilet bowl don't work. And Lord Christmas, Jim Carrey, gave him X-Lax, poured it into his tea. He was on this big date, and he's taking this massive dump in the fucking bathroom, and the toilet doesn't work. I thought Dumb and Dumber when I looked at Ikemen Jiro. And then people want to tell me that Triple H is still in charge of NXT. How can NXT be in charge, or Triple H rather, be in charge of NXT, and this is the shit that we're getting on NXT? Why would Triple H ever have somebody in a fucking toilet stall on a vignette taking a shit? The reason why this vignette aired tonight is because Bruce Prichard and Vince McMahon are using Ikemen Jiro to take a shit all over NXT. Awful. What a disgusting fucking vignette. Why is this guy employed? What value does Ikemen Jiro bring to the fucking brand? Really. This guy's ceiling is as low as anybody I've ever seen. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy's let go in about 3 months. No, they want to get rid of Adam Cole and not give Adam Cole a great role in the company. Well, but they want to keep Ikemen Jiro on board. They want to fire Keith Lee, but Ikemen Jiro is on board, right? Then we got a newcomer, Draco Anthony. Don't know anything about Draco Anthony, but he's piqued my interest. I like the name, man. Draco. See what he's about in the coming weeks. NXT Cruiserweight Championship, Roderick Strong with Diamond Mine and Joe Gacy. This match just existed on a show, and it was placed in the middle of everything that happened tonight, and it was just there. Nothing really overly memorable happened here. This was basically a TV match on pay-per-view. 2 heels tonight in this match. Nobody really knew who they wanted to go for or cheer for in this match. Gacy did his shtick where he wanted to hug Roddy. Strong wanted no part of it. He surprised Strong with some strikes, so Roddy knocked him down with a backbreaker. Gacy came back with some strikes, including a hard lariat to the back. Strong peppered his opponent with some chops in the corner. They fought on the apron. Gacy landed a bicycle kick. Gacy then maintained control in the match with a backbreaker. Strong came back with some knees, a superplex. He tried to go for a lung blower, did Roddy, and he completely missed it. He completely botched the move. He then followed up with a angle-like Olympic slam for 2. Gacy went for a submission, or Strong rather went for a submission on Gacy, countered into a crossface, forcing Strong to fight to the ropes for a break. Gacy then landed a flip dive onto Strong and the Creed brothers on the outside. Gacy then started a face-off with Ivy Nile on the outside, and man, I mean, he's got some fucking balls if he wants to pick a fight with Ivy Nile on the outside. So Harland comes over. He picks up Ivy Nile very easily, and Gacy's like, no, put her down. So Harland listens, and Harland puts down Miss Ivy Nile. And it was a rather odd moment there. I don't know what they're doing with Harlan, man. I hear so many things about Parker Boudreaux, that he's got charisma for days, and I hear that he's got a lot of connections in and around wrestling, and people are a big fan of Parker Boudreaux. And now here they are. They're dressing him as a second-rate Nails, and they got him out there dressed like Michael fucking Myers. Like, what exactly are we doing with... Is he going to get in the ring? Is he going to have any solo experience for himself? I think people are waiting to see this guy break out as one of the newcomers. This guy was somebody that had so much hype surrounding him. And he's just dressed there in a jumpsuit to stand around and look very evil and mean. He's not really doing much of anything. So he put Ivy Nile down, and Strong hit a jumping knee followed by the end of Heartache for the win, and that was it. That was it. I legitimately thought Joe Gacy was going to win the Cruiserweight Championship tonight. In fact, I was actually hoping that Joe Gacy won the Cruiserweight Championship because of all the rumors that we heard that WWE is going to drop the Cruiserweight Championship. It could still happen. I mean, we could get this match on Tuesday night. We could get a rematch on Tuesday night. And Joe Gacy can win the title on Tuesday night. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but it didn't happen tonight. It may still be in the cards. I have no idea, but I actually want Joe Gacy to win the Cruiserweight Championship because the Cruiserweight division is dead. I said this on the podcast on Saturday. Joe Gacy winning the Cruiserweight Championship would probably be the best thing for the Cruiserweight division because there is no Cruiserweight division. 205 Live has fucking Odyssey Jones wrestling on it. Odyssey Jones is nowhere near 205 pounds to even be on the show. So what are we doing? WWE botched the Cruiserweight Championship so fucking badly. Could have been something really, really special. And they shit all over. Ikeman Jiro took a shit all over the Cruiserweight Championship. It's exactly what the WWE thinks of the Cruiserweight Championship. That vignette for Ikeman Jiro. Now, the rumor was that Joe Gacy was going to win the title and make it an all-inclusive championship or an open weight championship, whatever the case may be. Didn't happen. Didn't happen. I'm not for an inclusive championship. I don't want women wrestling the men on WWE television. I don't want women challenging for men's championships on Tuesday night. I don't want to see it. An open weight championship. We don't need any more championships if that's the case. If Joe Gacy's going to win it, he should just retire it. Get rid of it. Fuck your body shaming and fuck your weight shaming. Get rid of it. We don't need any more titles on the brand. The more titles you add, the less valuable the titles are. And the all-inclusive shit, I don't want any of that shit on the brand. That's not needed. You're not going to make a believable, men challenging the women segment on the show. None of those women, maybe Raquel Gonzalez, I have no idea, but none of those women are going to go battle the men one-on-one. It's not a believable thing to have a inclusive championship on the brand. Save that shit for the fucking bingo halls and save that shit for indie wrestling. Just burn the title. I won't be surprised if the Cruiserweight Championship goes away anyway because it is definitely a Triple H project. It was a Triple H idea, a Triple H thing. But I was actually quite shocked that this match didn't end up with Joe Gacy winning. Roderick Strong wins. I'm not really holding my breath on anything happening with the Cruiserweight Championship. For all we know, we could see Gacy win the title on Tuesday in a rematch. So we'll see what happens. The main event, War Games, Team 2.0, Bron Breakker, Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, Tony D'Angelo against Team Black and Gold, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, Pete Dunne, and LA Knight. This went almost 40 minutes. This was awesome. I thought this was a great way to close out not really a memorable War Game show. So Ciampa led his team, and they were all in the cage. Rebel Heart plays. Johnny Gargano comes out, and he is wearing what looks to be a throwback of all of his NXT TakeOver gear. He's got all the different takeover colors on the back of his trunks. He comes out to Rebel Heart. I start getting teary-eyed because I know what that song means to a lot of people. I know what that Johnny Wrestling character means and that heart and soul that Johnny Gargano had when NXT was in its glory days. That shit hurt, man. Hearing Rebel Heart tonight was great, but hearing Rebel Heart also hurt at the same time. And I know a lot of people, when it comes to Johnny Gargano, you know, everybody can make fun of Johnny Gargano's size and his weight and how Johnny Gargano's not going to be a needle mover and all this other shit. And how it's going to be sad seeing Johnny Gargano leave. I want to tell you guys something. It is not a bad thing that Johnny Gargano potentially is leaving WWE. In fact, I could not be more happy. Because we know what awaits Johnny Gargano if he stays on Tuesday night or if he gets demoted to the main roster. We know what awaits him. Why would we ever want to burden him with that sort of bullshit? So when everybody is upset that Johnny Gargano is leaving NXT, I'm actually thinking, yeah, it sucks that we don't have the NXT that we love anymore, but Johnny Gargano is going to go on to once again be Johnny Wrestling. It's actually a great thing that he's leaving. And the potential dream matches that man could have, we could see Johnny Gargano versus Darby, Johnny Gargano versus Jungle Boy, Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole again, Johnny Gargano versus Bryan Danielson, Johnny Gargano versus Andrade again, Johnny Gargano versus Malachi, Johnny versus Cody, Johnny versus Adam Page, Johnny versus MJF. I mean, the matches that this man could potentially have is off the charts. Why would we want him to stay? Or why is anybody upset that he's leaving? Is a better question. A better way for me to question what I'm talking about. Why are you upset? Johnny Gargano versus Bryan Danielson is one of my personal dream matches still right now. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine Bryan Danielson versus Johnny Gargano at a fucking Double or Nothing? Or an All Out? Take my money. Seriously, take my fucking money. All we need is Mauro Ranallo on commentary. Seriously. Johnny Gargano is going to be fine. He's going to be fine. So all these guys are in the cages. Gargano and Mr. Hayes. Carmelo Hayes. He shoots and he doesn't miss. Carmelo Hayes. They started off. They went back and forth. Nicely done between these two guys. Obviously, they worked very well together. At one point, they stood up on the top of the ropes using the cage to support them, and they were trading strikes. Gargano slammed Carmelo Hayes' face into the steel cage several times, hit a great sunset bomb on Carmelo Hayes, and took Carmelo Hayes out in a very great veteran way. Because he knew he was going to be in a 2-on-1 advantage, so he wanted to take out Carmelo Hayes and take him out to a point where he wasn't going to get up so quick. So Grayson Waller comes in. He was the first entrant for Team 2.0 in this match. He took Gargano down with a suplex before catching a head scissors and hitting a backbreaker. Gargano tried to make a small comeback here, but Hayes recovered. He's up now, 2-on-1 advantage for Team 2.0. And Gargano was overwhelmed by the numbers advantage here. Gargano was busted open somehow. I don't recall how he got busted open, but he was bleeding just a little bit on his head. He made a little bit of a comeback. Trick Williams tried to stop Gargano's momentum by throwing a chair into the cage. And Gargano took the chair, and Trick Williams tried to climb up the cage, and Gargano smacked Trick Williams down with the cage, or with the chair, rather, off the cage. This was enough for Johnny Gargano to be once again attacked by Carmelo and Mr. Grayson Waller. Pete Dunne comes in. He evens the odds, helping Gargano out. He's next in. He ran wild on Hayes and Waller. Exploder suplex on Hayes. And he landed Hayes right on top of Waller before attacking Waller's fingers and stretching his fingers through the holes of the cage. That joint manipulation by Pete Dunne, oh so brutal. Gargano and Dunne locked on simultaneous submissions on both of these guys. Hayes used his quickness and his athleticism to regain the advantage. He was cut off by Dunne with some forearms. Waller hit stunners on both Dunne and Gargano that looked absolutely beautiful. Tony D is in the match. Hey! Tony D is in there. Trick Williams assisted him when Tony D got into the match. He was raiding underneath the ring. It looked like fucking Ace Hardware underneath this ring. There were kendo sticks. There were steel chairs. There were trash cans. Carmelo Hayes was taking care of Pete Dunne, and they were doing their thing in the ring. Meanwhile, Tony D is grabbing all this shit from Trick Williams. Helped Tony D bring in 3 different tables into the War Games match. So when he went underneath the ring, Dexter Lumis took care of Trick Williams. He came out from underneath the ring. He did that little slither of his and chased Trick Williams up the ramp. And they were never seen again for the rest of the match. Dexter Lumis looks back and gives Johnny Gargano a thumbs up. And the crowd went crazy for that. That was a great moment as well. And also somewhat of a confirmation that Johnny Gargano's pretty much done here on Tuesday nights. So, with all this hardware in the ring, things really got crazy. Tony D'Angelo takes a chain and a padlock and locks the War Games cage. And the youngsters, the new school, continue to own the old school in this match. Now, the rest of the competitors are now locked out of the cage. LA Knight was the next in line. He attempted to enter the match, but the door was locked shut. He climbed up the cage. He climbed up the side of the cage and entered the match. He ran wild on everybody. LA Knight needs to be on the main roster. This is my opinion, and I'm advocating for LA Knight to be on SmackDown. I think LA Knight needs to be on SmackDown. I think that would be a perfect fit for him. I think he is absolutely tailor-made for the Intercontinental Championship. You bring that guy to SmackDown, you let him do what he's got to do. There's money to be made in LA Knight, man. LA Knight is fucking great. Great promo, great look, very good in the ring. There's no way that man is not going to get over with that audience. None. There's nothing for LA Knight to do on NXT. Hopefully they call him up and he's not a part of the budget cuts because he's a little bit older than everybody else. I'd love to see LA Knight on Friday night. So LA Knight's in the ring. He climbed up the side of the cage. He ran wild on everybody. Power slammed D'Angelo onto Waller. He was whacking everybody with some kendo sticks. Knight then put Waller in a trash can and smacked him with the kendo stick. Pete Dunne and Johnny Gargano hit simultaneous drop kicks on Waller, who was in the trash can. Dunne crushed Waller's fingers with kendo stick shots. Grayson Waller was getting his ass beat. Bron Breakker. He enters the match. He's the final participant in there for Team 2.0. Only Ciampa is remaining in the shark cage. He tried to use the bolt cutters to take the padlock off the door because he wanted in the match. This was quite embarrassing for Mr. Bron Breakker. He could not get the bolt cutters to work the right way. He could not break this chain. And it was quite silly that WWE waited for Bron Breakker to make his entry into the match and do this himself. We had 3 fucking minutes after LA Knight got into the ring. He got into the ring via the top of the cage. He climbed the cage. But the referees on the outside didn't even have the wherewithal to cut the fucking chain while LA Knight was climbing the goddamn cage. Why did they wait for Bron Breakker to get there and have Bron Breakker cut the fucking thing? That's what I want to know. Then they fumbled around with the fucking pliers, the bolt cutters, and Bron Breakker couldn't cut it in time. He eventually got it, but it took a little bit more than it should have to break the chain. Just a little silly, very unnecessary spot. These are the things that I noticed when I watched the show. He finally made it into the match. He destroyed everybody with suplexes and power slams. Dunne tried to take him out with punches, and he was thrown over the top rope very easily by Mr. Breakker. Breakker then tossed Gargano onto both Dunne and Knight, and 2.0 here maintained control with the numbers advantage because it was a 4-on-3. So Tommaso Ciampa made his way into the match. He used the kendo stick, and he is in there now. There's just chaos all over the ring. Ciampa used the trash can lid to assist, hitting some corner knees on all 4 guys. Hayes attacked with the kendo stick. Gargano saved Ciampa with a crutch shot. So we got the crutch, the equalizer, Ciampa's favorite weapon. The crutch, a throwback spot here in the match with the crutch. Johnny looked at the crutch. He's like, I know this shit very well. He threw it to Ciampa. That was a great spot. Again, brought a tear to my eye to see that fucking crutch in the hands of Tommaso Ciampa. Again, you guys know how memorable that crutch was to Tommaso Ciampa on his way to winning the NXT Championship. So, he's got the crutch. Crowd is chanting, DIY, DIY. Gargano and Ciampa worked well together to regain control. They ran wild. Breaker eventually took them both down with power slams. So we got the new school. They had the black and gold team surrounded in the ring. Black and gold exchanged looks. They fired up. This was a great spot. We got Team 2.0. We got two guys on one side, two guys on the other end, and all of the old school guys standing in the middle of the two rings, right between the divider. And LA Knight's looking at each other, and Pete Dunne is in the corner saying, whatever. Ciampa and Gargano looking at each other. They all get up. They fired up. It was a big brawl. This was a great spot there. Waller was sent hard into the cage with all four 2.0 guys trapped in between the ropes and the cage. So we got the veterans beating them all down. Dunne propped a trash can between the ropes, and Gargano sent Hayes into it with a lawn dart. They set up a table, and Ciampa looked to hit an air raid crash on Waller, but D'Angelo cut him off. Knight springs up to the top rope. This is why I love LA Knight, man. Very athletic for a guy his size. You don't really see somebody like that doing that type of shit, man. You got LA Knight jumping up in one fell swoop, sprung up to the top rope, and tossed Waller over the top into the table. That was a tremendous spot by LA Knight and Mr. Grayson Waller. D'Angelo and Breaker worked together to powerbomb Dunne and Gargano in a Tower of Doom. Knight then hit the BFT on Hayes. That got a close near fall. Knight trapped Breaker in between the ropes and went for another BFT, but D'Angelo cut him off. Him and Bron Breaker tried for a double team. Ciampa interrupted them with trash can lids. And Ciampa then hit the air raid crash on Breaker through a trash can for a near fall. D'Angelo set up a table in the other ring, and he was yelling at Waller to climb the cage. Waller then climbed the cage. D'Angelo propped Knight on the table. Waller hits a beautiful elbow drop from the very top of the War Games cage right down onto LA Knight. That looked great. Again, Grayson Waller is very good, man. He is very good. I just don't get really what he's dressed as or what he looks like or what his gimmick is. There's no emotional investment there from me to Grayson Waller. Like, who is he? But man, can this guy go, man? I really think he's great in the ring. I just don't know what the fuck he is. So Tony D'Angelo then takes a crowbar. Of course he would. That's why I love Tony D, bro. He takes a crowbar. Dunne surprised him with some kendo stick shots. And D'Angelo cut Dunne off and trapped him against the cage using the crowbar, choking him out. He then took Pete Dunne's mouth guard and hit a assisted crowbar neck breaker off the top rope. That was excellent. And then he put Pete Dunne's mouth guard in his pocket, almost like a souvenir or a trophy. Ciampa and Breaker then were left slugging it out. They were the last two guys left standing. Breaker hit a snap. Frankensteiner, Gargano got involved, and DIY hit their finishing move on Mr. Bron Breaker. Gargano hit one final beat on Breaker. Ciampa and Gargano hit DIY, like I said. Hayes interrupted the cover because both men of DIY, both Gargano and Ciampa, went to go double cover Bron Breaker, but Carmelo Hayes pulls the referee out of the pin attempt and interrupts the count there. Excellent move there by Mr. Carmelo Hayes. Hayes then poked Ciampa's eye, hit Gargano with a low blow. Hayes taunted Gargano, but was stopped with a running knee from Ciampa. Ciampa went for a fairy tale ending, but Bron Breaker speared him through a table that was propped up in the corner of the ring. It looked brutal. Power slam out of a military press, and that was it for Bron Breaker to make the cover, and he pins Tommaso Ciampa 1, 2, 3. Bron Breakker pins the NXT champion, and that will be his way in to getting another championship match against Tommaso Ciampa, what I think will take place at New Year's Evil on January 4th. And that was NXT War Games. I thought this was an excellent main event. Again, there is a lot to like about these four guys. I'm very big on these four guys. I think Carmelo Hayes is very good. I think everybody praising Carmelo Hayes is a little too hasty to a point where I've seen some people say he's ready for the main roster. No, he's not. Carmelo Hayes is not ready for the main roster. Carmelo Hayes has a lot of work to do by getting the North American Championship in a place where it's good, and he needs to be made by that championship. You will know when Carmelo Hayes is ready for the main roster. Tony D'Angelo, young, he looks great. He's very good in the ring. He's got a gimmick working for him. He's got the fan support behind him. He's going to be a stud. I am not worried about Tony D'Angelo. I hope WWE sees what they got in him and they let him just fly. Grayson Waller, again, absolutely phenomenal talent. I just don't know who he is. And everybody can see that WWE's high on Bron Breakker. Everybody. That's going to be the guy. That's going to be the guy in WWE. But the old school, man, Johnny's gone. Ciampa, he's holding that championship, keeping it warm for Bron Breakker. LA Knight. I can see LA Knight and Pete Dunne on the main roster, man. Pete Dunne is more than ready for the main roster. LA Knight is more than ready on the main roster. Put Pete Dunne and LA Knight on SmackDown. Move them to SmackDown. They would thrive there. SmackDown needs some sort of help. I genuinely feel that they would help SmackDown out tremendously. Pete Dunne will probably spend a couple more months in NXT, maybe around WrestleMania time they call him up. Maybe he gets in a situation where he helps get Tony D'Angelo over just a little bit more. I see them feuding for the next couple weeks. LA Knight, I think he's ready for the main roster, like I said. Ciampa dropping the title, Gargano gone. This was a great main event. Symbolic, but a very good main event. I would probably put that up there with the top 3 War Games matches that they've done. This was a 40-minute, hellacious, chaotic match that I thought was very fun from the word go. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I really did. Polar opposite than what we got from the women. I thought the women's match was not memorable at all, but the men's match, it lived up to everything about War Games that we've come to know and love and what Triple H has done with War Games. But there is a lot to like in NXT, man. There really is a lot to like, and I don't want to say it is a complete disaster, but I think the one thing that people really hone in on is what we're not getting anymore. Why was there such a need for change? All politics aside, I know WWE needs to create for the future. But the thing is, Triple H was creating for the future. Triple H was creating for the future in what I thought was a beautiful way. And there's a lot of talent that WWE let go that they didn't really give an opportunity to really be the future of the company. And we all knew that they could be the future of the company. And WWE didn't want that. For one reason or another, I don't know why they didn't want it, but the one reason that I'm very fixated on is the fact that a lot of these guys were Triple H guys, and they didn't want to give Triple H any credit for creating the future. Vince wants to come in and fix everything. Vince wants to come in and fix who you see on television and who needs to be on television and who he thinks is a superstar. That's the problem. So hopefully WWE churns out some future stars of this current class. I love the characters. I love character-driven pro wrestling. I don't want everybody to be flippy and divey, and I don't want everybody to look the same and feel the same and all this other shit. I want characters. A guy like Tony D is exactly what I would want from my promotion. Same thing with Bron Breakker. He's got the family lineage behind him. Same thing with Carmelo Hayes and Grayson Waller. These guys are studs, man. Studs. But you can't really neglect and look back on the 1.0 and what Triple H did and not say it wasn't an integral part of what we're seeing now. Everything that NXT was the perfect way to do things. If they still use what Triple H brought to the table and mix it with some of their new methods and their new ways, NXT could still be great. I don't want to see it fall to the wayside, and I don't want to see it completely destroyed like we've seen it in recent weeks. Matches like this give me some glimmer of hope then I'm not going to give WWE the benefit of the doubt at all because they don't deserve it. And they hate us. They hate everything about its fan base. But I enjoyed this main event for what it was. I enjoyed the talent and the men, the 8 men that were in this match. Kudos to them. And it was a very thumbs-in-the-middle show tonight. A very thumbs-in-the-middle show. It wasn't great by any stretch, but the quality of the tag team title match and the quality of that War Games match at the end, I would say it's trending more towards a slightly thumbs-up show. Guys, I want to thank you so very much for joining me on your Sunday nights. We had 2,000 deep, 2,100 plus in the venue tonight. We're going to read your super chats in just a second. I want to thank you guys very much for joining me here on your NXT War Games post show on Off the Script. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. That is on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Make sure you guys go and check out all the other videos that you might have missed on the channel, including episode 399 of the flagship podcast Off the Scripts on Saturday afternoon. We were live on YouTube, so go check that out. Make sure you guys go get your t-shirts, man. Bonfire is the exclusive home of Off the Scripts. And make sure you guys check out my sponsor for today's show, man, Manscaped. Manscaped.com. You guys are going to use code SCRIPT20 at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. Guys, it's the holiday season, man. And you don't know what to get as a gift or stocking stuffer this year? I got the answer for you. Today's sponsor, Manscaped, has the tools to guarantee you win this year's stocking stuffer or white elephant competition. Manscaped is the leader in men's below-the-waist grooming, and they have served more than 4 million men worldwide. Now, if my math is correct, that's almost 8 million balls. You guys are going to get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with code SCRIPT20. Ho, 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 fellas. Whether you're naughty or nice, it's the season to perform. Manscaped's best-selling product is the Performance Package 4.0, which is at the very top of every man's wish list this year. Inside, you'll find the lawnmower body trimmer, the best trimmer on the market for your balls, your ass, your body, and the weed whacker, the ear and nose hair trimmer. Let's not forget their famous liquid formulations, the Crop Preserver, Ball Deodorant, and Crop Reviver. Get the Performance Package now and receive 2 free gifts on top of it. Manscaped's Boxer Briefs and the Shed Travel Bag. The dads can't stop talking about this when the teens secretly buy this, and women will love you for it. Manscaped's 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner also just launched. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone and get the 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. Make sure you guys use code SCRIPT20 to get all of these great products at 20% off and free shipping. Whether this is for your partner, your dad, your brother, your friend, get them something that they will actually use, and it's almost sure to get a laugh. 20% off, free shipping, manscaped.com. Use code SCRIPT20 and be the ballsiest gift giver this year with Manscaped. Guys, let's get into this questionnaire, man. I got this questionnaire sitting here. I want to go over this because I didn't get this questionnaire. Let me see. Let me bring up the questionnaire. We got this questionnaire, and I seen this, and it was quite interesting that WWE sent this out. Like, I don't know why they sent it out, but we got all these questions, and I want to run through these real quick. So fans received this survey where they were asked if they agreed or disagreed with these statements. So WWE sent out a survey last Friday to figure out what fans like and don't like about NXT 2.0. The survey asked fans a long list of questions that range from the look and the feel of the show, the character, development, whether the show feels too scripted or not, the length of the show, and other topics. So let's read through these questions real quick. Agree or disagree? This show has many unique and exciting characters. I'm going to say disagree. I only think the men that I mentioned in the War Games match, the crop of talent that WWE is really getting behind on NXT 2.0, the new school, those are the guys that I'm really fixated on. Everybody else is either a Triple H product or someone out of the Performance Center that clearly is not ready yet. So I'm going to say disagree on that. Many unique and exciting characters? No, not everybody is unique and exciting. There's only a select few that I actually would deem unique and exciting. I enjoy the athleticism of the wrestling talent on the show. I would say I agree. For the most part, those who know what they're doing are very good at what they do. So I would say agree. This show has some of my favorite professional wrestling characters. I would probably say yeah. I would probably agree with that. Now, before they go anywhere, they are with the brand right now. So, guys like LA Knight, Pete Dunne, Imperium, Tommaso Ciampa, Dexter Lumis, Tony D, guys like that, Zeo Shirai. So, yeah, some of these talents are some of my favorite talents in all of WWE. So I would say yes. Character development is believable. I'm going to say I disagree with that. Character development for everybody is not believable. For some people it is. But I don't think character development is believable in mostly everybody. So I would disagree with that. Wrestling talent on this show is charismatic. We'll define your version of charismatic. I would probably say I agree. It's not uncharismatic. The people that are on this show, the priority that is on this show is very charismatic, I'd say. I enjoy the interactions and matchups among female talent. I'm going to say I disagree. I honestly think this is the worst the women's division in NXT has looked in a very long time. This is everything that is completely opposite from what Triple H did with the women's division in NXT. I would say I disagree about the interactions and matchups amongst female talent. Triple H was doing it right. I honestly think it's taken a big hit since the relaunch. The wrestling talent has creative freedom to speak their minds. I disagree. Are you fucking kidding me? Bruce Prichard and Vince McMahon are going to listen to talent? This is not like Triple H's NXT, where he was Papa H. His door was always open for his talent. No, they don't have the opportunity to speak their mind. Promos feel natural and not too scripted. Disagree. Everybody sounds very scripted. Depending on who it is, though. Guys like Bron Breakker, he doesn't sound scripted. Tony D'Angelo doesn't sound scripted. Because he's actually playing his gimmick and his role very well. But some of the people on this show, yes, they sound very scripted. LA Knight doesn't sound scripted. But WWE's teaching them in a way where they are writing for the talents, and that's the way it's going to be in WWE. I enjoy the interactions and matchups amongst male talent. Every now and then, every so often. I wouldn't say I enjoy everybody, but I would say I partially agree. The show does a good job in developing newer wrestling talent. I really haven't gotten to a point where I could agree or disagree with that. So I'm going to leave that one unanswered. The show does a good job in developing newer wrestling talent. I'm not so sure yet. I enjoy the promos and smack talk on this show. Disagree. I don't think it's anything like we used to see in NXT. The show does a good job in featuring a wide variety of talent that I'm interested in. I'm going to say I disagree. There's only a select few that I'm interested in seeing, and most of the time I am very uninterested in what is going on. The show is one of my favorites amongst all professional wrestling shows. Disagree. You guys know the reason for that. This show is straightforward. I don't think the show is straightforward at all. I think the show is a fucking circus act. So I'm going to disagree on that. Most segments on the show feel necessary to watch. Disagree. There's a good chance, or a good balance rather, there's a good balance between talking and action segments. I would say I agree. I think there is a good balance between talking and action, but NXT has fallen into this pit where we see a lot of 2 or 3 minute matches. It sometimes feels like it's copying Monday Night Raw, or SmackDown, rather. SmackDown has had these 2-minute, 3-minute matches frequently throughout the last couple of weeks. We're starting to see that a little bit more on NXT. I don't like that. I don't want to see 2 or 3 minute matches with up-and-coming talent. I want to see them and how they perform in the ring. That's what they're there for, to train. Developmental. You can't develop anybody in 2 or 3 minute matches. There's a good variety of match types used on this show. I would say I disagree with that. There's really nothing out of the ordinary. And sometimes WWE does things for the sake of boosting a rating or whatever the reason may be. Doesn't really necessarily fit the match or the feud that's going on. There's no reason for a steel cage match between Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner on Tuesday night. They're giving us a steel cage match because they think that a steel cage match is going to get people interested in watching the show. But it doesn't really make sense in the current feud that they're in. I can count on seeing at least some big or important moments. Disagree. The show has high production value, lights, camera work. I would say somewhere in the middle. The production value is too polished. I enjoyed NXT and the grittiness and the blackness and the darkness of NXT. I think the bright lights and the fucking overly watered down colors and fucking brightness of the show, I don't like it. I don't like the current vibe of NXT. Feels like I'm in some fucking tripped out world, tripping out on fucking mushrooms or something. I don't like the colors of the show. The show does not have enough escalation to intense, brutal action. I agree with that. I absolutely agree. That actually plays into the long-term storytelling and long-term booking as well. The show does not have enough escalation to intense, brutal action. Yes, I agree. It does not. That's what Triple H did so well. The show format continues to be something that is positively evolving. The show format is just basically Monday Night Raw on Tuesday nights. So no, I disagree. It is not evolving positively. Match outcomes feel meaningful. Disagree. The match outcomes do not feel meaningful. The show keeps up with the latest technology. I don't know what the fuck that means, but I'll probably agree. WWE is always up on the latest technology. The show has the right amount of aggressiveness and violence. Disagree. I think it could be more aggressive and violent. Storylines are consistently engaging. Disagree. Storylines keep me guessing in a good way. Disagree. There is always something fresh and exciting. Disagree. The show offers an amount of humor that appeals to me. Disagree. I enjoy the commentary on this show. Disagree. I share content or talk about this show with my friends or other fans. Disagree. I don't talk about this show with anybody that I know. I used to, but not anymore. Rivalries and matchups on this show are consistently entertaining. Disagree. So if they actually asked me these questions, I would be one of the fucking people that they should be asking, and I would give them these legit answers. So let me know what you guys think about that. But they sent that questionnaire out to a lot of different people wanting to know what they like and what they don't like about NXT. Anyway, guys, let's get into the Super Chats. We got 1,800 in the venue still. Thank you guys very much for joining me on your Sunday nights, man. Hit that thumbs up and get those Super Chats in. Grab your cold beverage at his last call. And we're going to go over all of your Super Chats right now, man. Starting with Philip Newton. We got Philip Newton with a $4.99 Super Chat. Von Wagner forgot to put the lotion in the baskets. My boy James with a $5 Super Chat. Hello, OTS fam and new members. Crank it up. We're live, man. Sorry I missed the stream. Jerry has had like poof. Don't worry, man. Do what you got to do, man. You know where to find us. Tony Brown with a $4.99 Super Chat. Oh, well, my women were a booty meat buffet. Nice farewell to Kyle and Johnny. Men's War Game was good. The men's War Game was very good, Tony. And you had a lot of booty meat in that opening match, bro. So hopefully you enjoyed that. C. Salisbury with a membership for 3 months. Thank you, brother. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said NXT was WWE's best current product. Enjoyed the show tonight. Yes, NXT, you know, no matter how bad it is, and no matter what we think of NXT and what they've done to it, it is still WWE's best show. Which is sad. And then also he leaves a $9.99 Super Chat. Best reviews in the IWC. Your content is unmatched, brother. Thank you so much, bro. I try. We got a 3-month Super Chat from Risen. You know, that was the name of my old metal band. Risen. Are we live? He says. Yes, we are, man. Thank you so much for your 3-month membership. Hologram with a $5 Super Chat. The day one promo where everyone does this is Max Cringe. I'll never watch NXT again. I'll be here Tuesday night, brother. You can live vicariously through me. We'll talk about what happens on the Fallout show Tuesday night. Brad Pye with a $2 Super Chat. Wyndham got hacked on Twitter and Von Wagner turned heel. Yes, Wyndham got hacked. Apparently he's selling PS5s. And he wants everybody to reach into his DMs about a fucking $550 PS5. Don't fall for it. It's a scammer. At least he's not asking for fucking gift cards. Drizzy Drew with a $4.99 Super Chat. Johnny cut a promo after War Games saying he's going to say something on NXT this Tuesday. Uh-oh. Jesse is texting me something. Hold on. Rip Baker tweeted, when I was one of Johnny's students, we would be so excited to hear all about his early NXT trips before he officially signed. He was he was busier than ever, creating the start of his legacy, but he always still made it back to Cleveland to train us. Hashtag Rebel Heart. And then Adam Cole tweeted a heart emoji. I'm guessing that has to do with Mr. Johnny Gargano. You know, Johnny Gargano, Drizzy Drew says Johnny Gargano cut a promo after War Games saying he's going to say something on NXT this Tuesday. That may be his farewell. But if he's on Tuesday night, it kind of gives me the impression that he's not going anywhere. So we'll see on Tuesday night, man. Could be the last night we see Johnny Gargano. I don't know. Tony D'Angelo is going to whack Bruce and Wood. Says John Perna with a $1.99 Super Chat. Thank you, brother. We got Zatoratsu becoming a member for 5 months. Thank you, brother. And then Captain Solo become a member for 6 months. Jade, your podcast has bled into my personal life. I've been calling a lot of my coworkers blithering idiots and fucking geeks. LOL. It happens, bro. Those are terms that I use in everyday life as well. Appreciate you. Bo Jiden with a $2 Super Chat. Jesse selling a PS5 in the venue like it's Craigslist. Don't let me find out Jesse's fucking selling PS5s. I don't even think Jesse himself has a fucking PS5. Ricardo Linnell with a $9.99 Super Chat. Driving home, watching OTS is better than watching War Games. Thanks, Vince and Bruce J, the number one. As if you didn't know, Jesse, have a peanut butter whiskey ready for me when I get home. Thank you, Ricardo. Hooligan with a $5 Super Chat. Hashtag for the glory is better than NXT Snore Game. Shit legit put me to sleep. Can't wait to see Hog and Malachi Black. I can't wait for Saturday, man. I'm legit excited. I get to call a fucking Malachi Black match against the Amazing Red with the Solid Monster. It's gonna be awesome. If you guys want to order that, man, Fight TV, House of Glory for the Glory, Malachi Black versus Amazing Red. Me and Solid Monster on commentary again. Hopefully, we sound better this time and our commentary mics aren't cutting out. Fucking trash-ass equipment. Raisin Brand with a $50 Super Chat. I know that we all miss the old NXT dearly, but I try to be as optimistic as possible. It's probably better off that Vince and Bruce are in charge so that when they get to the main roster, they are less likely to be buried like Triple H's creations. Razor Brand, you got comment of the night, brother. That is 100% factual. I'm trying to hold out hope as well. If Tony D'Angelo was a Triple H talent, he'd probably end up being buried. But the fact that Bruce Prichard and Vince McMahon are in charge and they are overseeing the creation and the molding of these new talents, he's probably got a better chance to make it. And you're absolutely correct. Justin Striplin with a $9.99 super chat. Women's War Games match was sloppy and felt like they were rushing their spots, and I agree that it was the worst one. I did get a good chuckle when Zeo Shirai popped Cora's shoulder back in. Bro, I legit thought Cora Jade was fucking injured, legitimately. I thought she was about to exit the match. For real. It looks like I may be doing an extra on Jeff Hardy, man. Jesse also sent me the link on this Jeff Hardy thing. Jeff Hardy apparently was sent home after a WWE show. That doesn't sound good by that headline. Jeff Hardy was absent from a live event in Corpus Christi, Texas. He was sent home. Hardy competed in Texas with Xavier Woods and Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns and the Usos, and reportedly grew sluggish as the match went on. He would eventually make the hot tag to Drew McIntyre and disappear from ringside, being followed by security. Tonight in Corpus Christi, Texas, Jeff Hardy was replaced in the match by Rey Mysterio. Jeff last competed on television on November 26th. He was in the Battle Royal to determine the number one contender. He was eliminated by Sami Zayn. And he's been in a feud with Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss with Drew McIntyre. I don't know what that means, man. As the match progressed, he grew sluggish. That doesn't sound good at all. I'm going to hold out hope. I really am going to hold out hope that he is not under the influence. I want to hope that it's a mild COVID situation. That's what I'm hoping for. He gets sent home, he'll sit home for a couple days and then be back on the road and he'll be back on SmackDown. I hope to God this man is not stupid enough to be under the influence of alcohol or drugs. I hope to God not. This man has had so many opportunities given to him. I hope that's not the case. I really, really hope that's not the case. Cool Jags with a $4.99 super chat. War Games was a decent show tonight. The men's War Games match was fantastic. Jacy reminds me of a PC Kevin Owens. Grayson Waller reminds me of a British version of Jake Paul. Maybe that's what his gimmick is, I guess, yeah. Bron Breakker and Tony D'Angelo are fantastic. Yeah, all these guys are very good. And the War Games match was great. Thank you, Cool Jags. Or maybe jet lag. Yeah, man. Maybe it's jet lag for Jeff. I have no idea. Toxic Banana 99. Hardy got sent home after a house show last night. Thank you, bro. And Eddie Hazard with a 4-month membership. It is now actually possible to get that dream feud between the Undisputed Era and the Inner Circle. And I'm 100% here for it. Bro, you give me Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish versus Santana and Ortiz, bro. You take my money and all of it. That would be fantastic, man. That would honestly be fantastic. Yes, I hope Jeff Hardy is all right, guys. I guess we'll be doing an extra tomorrow. Not stupidity when he has an addiction problem. Yeah. But the thing is, Jesse, you know, he should know. I guess once an addict, always an addict. I'm hoping that's not the case. I don't know why he would be so reckless. This is probably the best he's looked in years, as far as the creative aspect is concerned. I don't know. I guess we'll find out more when we can, man. We'll find out more about Jeff Hardy in the next couple of days. Hopefully everything is all right with him and it's not as serious as everybody's fearing it is. But guys, I'm about to get out of here, man. I am all but spent on this NXT War Games nights. I am all but done, man. We are looking at a brand new week of content. We are looking at a brand new week of content, man. It's going to be a busy week. Monday, Raw. Tuesday, NXT. Wednesday, Dynamite with Jacy. Probably do an extra on Thursday with some gaming stuff in between. Some gaming stuff on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Friday, we got SmackDown and Rampage. Saturday, we got House of Glory live in Queens, New York on Fight. Malachi Black and Amazing Red. Sunday, OTS live for episode 400. Got a very busy week ahead of me, man. Very, very busy week. Final verdict, man. War Games was all right. The War Games main event and that tag team title match with Imperium, Von Wagner, and Kyle O'Reilly were the two huge bright spots for me on the show. Everything else fell flat. Did not care about anything else that happened on that show. But I'm glad you guys showed up. I'm glad you guys showed up to hang out with me on your Sunday nights, man. I'll be back tomorrow on Monday night for Monday Night Raw. We'll be live back in the venue. Make sure you guys follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. That's Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Make sure you guys go check out all the other videos that you might have missed on the channel. They're all on the homepage. Go get your merchandise, man. You guys can save 15% off on Bonfire using code SCRIPT at checkout. Go get your merchandise, man. That's only going to be one more week where you can save some money on the merch. So go pick it up. Seriously. And go check out my sponsor for today's show, man. Manscaped. Manscaped.com. You guys are going to use code SCRIPT20 at checkout to save 20% off and get that free shipping. Make sure you guys get something good, whether it's for your dad, your brother, your friend, your coworker. Give the gift of Manscaped this year, man. Manscaped.com. Thank you guys also for all the super chats and all the love. But I'm getting out of here, man. I need two things from you. Number one, I need those guitar emojis in the chat. And if you got them, my VIPs, I need those Mustang emojis in the chat. And number two, when you see that guitar solo kick in, I need that music on max. I'll see you guys live back in the venue from Monday Night Raw right here on Off the Scripts. Have a good night, guys, and I'll see you back live tomorrow night.